What's going on YouTube? This is John with the Idle Income channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how my sites are doing in week 2 or episode 2 of my blog income report series. We're going to go over site visits, income, total blog posts for the last week, and be sure to stick to the end because I'm going to go over how I decide to write a blog post. So let's dive into site number 1, which is in the online business and side hustle niche. Our total blog posts on the site is up to 282 posts. The total word count is 301,133 words. And this week I added 27 posts, which is one short of my goal of 28. For this site, I just did a lot of keyword research and added around 60 posts to my blogging list, which will help me keep the momentum going. Now let's dive into the income. Here's the slide for the zoic income for site number 1. The total income this week from the 20th to the 27th is a total of $13.99. The EPMV was $7.77, which is the lowest it's been probably since I've signed up to a zoic and they were trying to learn my site. So during my recent keyword research, I worked on including higher paying keywords to try and get my EPMV up. But as I said in the last video, January is usually the lowest month. So I'm not really worried about that. Now let's hop into site number 2, which is in the home niche. So we have a total of 36 posts. The word count is at 36,325 with an average of 1,009 words. And I added 3 posts this week. The goal of this site is to go slowly until I start to see more traction in Google. So I will continue to add 2 posts per week and sometimes 1 or 2 extra posts depending on the week. When it comes to visits and income for this site, there's nothing to show yet as it is still basically brand new. Now I want to do something a little different from the first episode. I want to add how I come up with blog posts. In other words, how I decide what's worth writing and what's not. So I find underserved topics that aren't written about in depth. And the way I do that is I find search terms that have a lot of forums in the top 10 in Google. When writing these posts, I read each forum question and answers to find the searcher's intent. This way I can write the very best blog post possible for the people searching that term. If the post seems like it's too easy to write, I usually don't write it unless I feel like I could add more value to what's already out there. And lastly, if the post can be easily written by an AI writing service, I don't write it. If you have any questions about how to choose what to write, leave them in the comments. Now let's dive into the next steps. Alright, so let's go over my next steps. So for site number 1, I want to start doing some research on alternative traffic sources other than Google. I want to find the very best one so I could start working on it so I could take matters into my own hands when it comes to increasing the income of the site. If you guys have any suggestions as to what I can do to increase traffic other than Google, please leave it in the comments below. I'm very interested in hearing what you guys do for your sites. For site number 2, this site is going to be my boring site, unfortunately. It's going to probably be very stagnant for the majority of the 52 episodes, but hopefully sooner than later we'll see some growth. And overall, as I said in the last video, my goal is $1,000 per month. This month I'm on pace to hit $60 for site 1, which is 6% of my $1,000 per month goal. This is the most I've made in a month, and every single month it has gone up so far, knock on wood. Lastly, let's go over the total profit, or in other words, total losses for this week. This week I'm negative $45.51. My expenses are Jarvis, which is $25 per week, and I paid writers $34.50. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please leave a comment below on how I can make this video series even better. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to follow my blogging journey.